Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 Manager 22 on the second channel, Culture Left Foot Let's Plays, and we're diving straight into the Mexican Grand Prix at the Autodrome Hermanos Rodriguez. And yeah, it should be hopefully a good one. An update has come out for the game where they've lowered the impact of DRS and made dirty air and cornering a little bit more realistic. So it could be a world of pain. It could be quite good. We'll have to wait and find out, won't we? There should be less overtakes through DRS, basically. It should mean you have to depend more on your ERS, a lot more like real life. But let's see how it goes. 3 points off Alfa Romeo after last episode. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Oh, the disappointment for Fernando Alonso on literally the last 2 yards of the track. Yes, very disappointing. But let's get in and sort our target performances things for this one. So reach Q3, yeah, qualifying position above 12th, and we'll reach Q2. I don't think our car is going to be affected that much by the update. We're not going to go for the fastest lap, and we will hopefully get our... We did get our finished position streak and our qualifying streaks, actually, which is awesome. In the last 3 races, we'll qualify someone above 14th. Yes, that's not a problem. Right, I'll go and do practice, and we'll be back for qualifying. Okay, so here we are back for qualifying, and good setups, actually. 99% confidence for Fernando and 100% confidence for Zhou, which is awesome. We just need to make sure we get all the best bits back onto the cars, so... Definitely need a good ERS on there. Loads of grid penalties in this one. The AI seems to have taken quite a lot of new components in Mexico, which is very interesting. 69%, 62, yeah, 69 can go on. Wait for the lads. And then, yeah, we just need to do Guan Yu Zhou's car as well. So gearbox will be that one at 70%. ERS, yeah, it's the same ERS, and engine is the same engine as well. So getting towards the end of the season, but yeah, this could be very interesting. Where we qualify, I think, is going to be bumped up quite a lot. A lot of the top runners are getting a lot of grid penalties. There is no rain in qualifying, but the race is going to be very heavy rain, apparently. So that's going to make it a little bit interesting. So I think what we're going to do is let everybody else go and clean the track for us, and we're going to go and do 1 lap in Q1 and not worry about it, really. So at the moment then, Verstappen leads the way, followed by Perez. The Red Bull's out in front. We're just going to wait and go for 1 very quick, fast lap, hopefully, in the in Q1 to get through into Q2. We could probably have put a little time in there, as Leclerc and Vettel looks like they're just starting their slowdown laps. We're going to wait. We're just going to wait until the whole sort of crowd goes and try to set a time that way. Magnussen out doing another run potentially, and Hulkenberg as well. I just want to save our engine components and stuff like that. There's only 3 races left. This, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. So for season 2, I think we're in a good position at season 2. It's interesting to see how this update is going to affect things. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, we've not set a time yet. We've got to beat, well, Hamilton at the moment, but we're going to send Zhou out first when the crowd goes. This will be everyone from the AI just doing their last stops, getting probably a fresh set of softs on, more than likely. 1:16 is the lap time for Verstappen, which means we should be going out around 2:30, I'd imagine, as time is ticking down. There we go. So Tsunoda goes, everybody goes, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Stroll, Sainz. Right, there we go. We'll send Zhou there. We'll send Alonso there. And we will get drivers out for this one. So Alonso's going to go out. Schumacher's going to be at the end. So let's get everyone onto their quick laps, and we will see how everyone gets on. So let's just slow that down quickly just so that we can see. So green sector 1 for Zhou, which obviously should be a green. He's not set a sector yet, so it should be green across the board for everyone, as Zhou is out in 16th. Wow, okay, our car is not as good as it used to be. And Alonso is in 13th. So the risky strategy there didn't really play off for Zhou, but Alonso's through, so we don't mind that. Guan Yu Zhou will be starting 16th. Yeah, look at all these grid penalties. So we're going to be jumping quite high up the qualification board, let's say. But into Q2 we go with Fernando Alonso. So yeah, we've got to get in the top 10 for this one. It's not going to be easy, but I think with this one we probably will. Let's reconfigure. Let's put that use set on just to go and set a banker lap, and we'll probably get those done pretty quickly as Gasly goes out early, and Norris and Verstappen. There's a big gap there, so we'll go in that. to go and get Alonso's banker lap set in. Currently sitting 13th. He needs to improve if he's going to find a bit more time to get into that top 10. And here he goes onto his... oh, no, there we go. He set, well, 2.6 seconds off Verstappen. Wow, okay. That isn't ideal. That's going to put us down here somewhere, I think, being that slow. Unless we hit a bit of traffic. Yeah, not sure about that because we're a lot slower than everybody else. So I'm going to assume we must have hit some traffic or gone offline. Again, we're going to try and go... In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to try and go a bit earlier. We're going to go there. Oh, we didn't get... I was hoping we'd get out in front. We didn't. We're sitting behind Sebastian Vettel, though. Let's see what Fernando Alonso can do here. We need a really good time. Green sector 1. Green sector 2. Green sector 3. It's only good enough for 13th. Yep, okay. Our car is not as good as it used to be before the update. But I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I love a bit of a challenge. So 13th is good, though. Not too bad. All those grid penalties. So Russell will probably be on pole. Then Gasly. Then Norris. Then us, potentially, with all those penalties. So let's see how we line up. Okay, so Fernando's actually starting 7th and Zhou up in 10th because of everybody else's grid penalties, which is good. One stop would be absolutely lovely. I'm thinking... Oh, no, yeah, look at the rain. So the rain's going to come. So I think we go softs until the rain, which is around about here. Heavy rain as well. So, and then we'll be probably going on to the wets because it's heavy, which means we can push our tyres a little bit. I think we do that for both drivers, and we're going to have to sort of implement this and change it as it happens, really, because I'm not too sure how we're going to be affected by this. So let's push the tyres to start. We'll go high fuel mode. We'll go deploy. Yeah, man, that rain is going to be an absolute killer in terms of understanding what we need to do. Now, I'm not going to do fuel. Oh, I didn't actually select the strategy. I'm not going to do extra fuel because I feel like the Fernando Alonso thing in the last race can be very easily avoided if I just pay attention. So, yeah, let's get into the Mexican Grand Prix. So we're starting on the soft tyre, hoping that rain comes early. Gasly on the front row is incredible in pole position, to be honest. So let's dive on board with Fernando Alonso and see what he can do in these early stages. We've got a Red Bull next to us on mediums. Yeah, soft. Okay, there's a couple of softs, mostly people on mediums. And let's see how we get in. So, yeah, dirty air has been patched. So it should be harder to drive in the dirty air as Zhou gains a position. We're battling with Mercedes, Red Bull, and Lando Norris in front of us. There you go. That's Alonso putting his foot down. Lovely stuff. He's got Ricciardo, which is good. Zhou up into 9th. Sorry, getting Ricciardo. Alonso taking Hamilton on his right-hand side. But he's still sticking a nose in, Lewis Hamilton. He's not done just yet. And come on, Fernando. Can you make this one stick, mate? Can you make this one stick? Yeah, you're going to have him there. That's fine. Right, let's drop that back into neutral. We've gained a position with both drivers. And Zhou could have got another one, actually. He's got Vettel as well. So that's lovely stuff there. I think we can... What's the weather forecast saying? Yeah, rain coming on a lap. What's 15, 16? So let's see how this one plays out in the rain. But so far, so good. Good starts from both drivers. You can see Zhou is actually just one car off Fernando Alonso. So a very good start for both drivers there. Very happy with how this is going. We are up into 6th and 8th after pretty poor qualifying, to be honest. But all good so far. Let's keep an eye out for that rain. Okay, so 4 laps in, DRS is open. It's very, very noticeable that DRS is a lot less effective now. So you're getting more of these sort of trains, a bit more like real life, where it's sometimes can turn into a bit of procession unless there's an incident or someone runs wide or there's a bit of a mistake like that. But you can see, so in theory, Perez should get Norris relatively easy unless he uses his ERS to defend. But at the moment, we're in a good position. Zhou still hot on the tail of Hamilton. We've got Vettel, Ricciardo right behind us as well. But yeah, 4 laps in, looking positive. Okay, Zhou's just starting to lose a bit of pace with Lewis Hamilton. So we're going to get him to deploy his battery and see if he can make that time up. I say we're trying to manage the tyres as best we can to get to that wet weather. But that's the key. Around lap 15, 16, see what's going to happen with that weather. Oh, and Guan Yu Zhou is right on the back of Lewis Hamilton, and he's just had a spin. Yeah, he's taken too much of the corner. And Guan Yu Zhou has a spin, and that's going to get our garage into a frantic panic, and it drops him down to 10th, which is really, really irritating. Oh, Guan Yu Zhou, you're still in the points. You're not out of it yet, but you are going to have to really push to catch up to Daniel Ricciardo there, and we're going to have to deal with all of this stuff later, but you need to get back into Daniel Ricciardo's DRS so that you don't get left behind from this train. Oh, Zhou, what a horrible time to spin. Right, so here we are then, keeping an eye on the weather. Lap 10, it's just going to absolutely skyrocket into full wet straight away. So, lap 15, sorry. I think lap 15, we take that risk. Maybe lap 11. Maybe lap 11. 16. So that is when we're bringing in Alonso. I think with Zhou, we're going to have to take a little bit more of a risk. So we're going to bring him one lap forward and try and preempt the wet weather. That's what we're going to do with Guan Yu Zhou. So he's still trying to push to get to Daniel Rick, but it's not working. So we're going to bring these back down. I'm just wondering if we say push those tyres, how quickly they... Yeah, okay, that'll be fine. So you can carry on pushing your tyres. Zhou, I think that's not an issue. We could do the same with Alonso. He's sitting pretty nicely at the moment. He's got Hamilton behind him. He's got Perez in front. He's in a little DRS train, which should keep him pretty solid in there. That's just going to come to strategy about pitting. So keeping an eye on the weather. Not many laps to go until that weather should hit. Okay, so we've just got the message through to say the rain is starting. So is this heavy rain a lot earlier than we thought? 40% chance in 1 minute, but it is already raining. That's going to get to intermediates very quickly. And with this predicted... Again, I think the strategy is for wet weather predicted. I don't think we can bring in Zhou just yet. I am just going to get him to ease off his tyres so he pushes it a little bit less hard in this rain. It's going to be intermediates. It's just how long. You really don't think those intermediates are going to be long, right? It's only lap 12. Is anybody else going to come in to the pits right now? George Russell's leading the race. He stays out. Nah, Sainz is in. So I think they're going to go intermediates, and I think it's going to be too soon. I think we're going to do one more lap. We're going to do one more lap like this, and then we're going to go full wet, I think. I think that's what we're going to do. I think so this lap, we're going to come in at the end of this lap onto full wets. We're going to risk it. I think the rain's still getting... Yeah, definitely. And you as well, Zhou. After this lap, in you come 4 wets. Right, let's accelerate forward and see how we get on here. So I'm expecting the front runners that haven't pitted yet to come in on this lap. 0.8, 95% chance of absolute downpour in 3 minutes, which is, what, 2 laps. So, right, Russell is in. What did everyone else come out on? Full wets, inters. It's a bit of a mixed field. So there is Fernando Alonso coming into the pits. We should see Zhou come through just behind that Alpine there. So, right, first change for Alonso. Full wets go on. Off you go. Come on, Alonso. You're being held, which is really irritating. He's gone. Zhou is next up. We need a good stop here. 2.5 for Fernando. Zhou's team does a 2.4. He's also being held. But I'm hoping that this is going to put us in a decent position here. So Alonso is out of the pits now and stays in 4th. And the wet weather is seriously coming down. So we can, let's just go standard. Don't push anything too much. Zhou as well, just standard. Don't push anything too much. Just your standard wet weather driving, folks. Don't worry too much. It's only at 0.9. So we're going to be going pretty slow to compare to anyone who's on inters. But there's only 2 people on inters. Everyone's seen that weather forecast. So we're up into 4th and 5th, which is absolutely awesome. But everyone is going incredibly slow on these wet tyres. We're going to catch up when this is in wet weather race running, which shouldn't be too far away, to be honest. And bang, just like that, not even in a full lap, it is absolutely torrential here in Mexico. It's a proper Mexican storm, it looks like. As Alonso's doing all right. Zhou, 18 seconds behind Fernando. But we've jumped up to 4th and 5th by getting the strategy right. I'm just hoping now it's a complete like whitewash for the whole race. I mean, it does drop off a little bit here where it might need inters, but if we can just sensibly drive around in 4th and 5th, I'm going to be absolutely delighted. Albon did gain a spot in his inters, but he'll be really struggling now, and he'll be coming back in. The AlphaTauri's getting their strategy all wrong, their weather centre. Look, he's holding everybody up for us, which is absolutely awesome. As yeah, really good. So we can actually use this time. Let's get Zhou's fuel back in line with where it should be, and you can see so tentative. Even the game makes it look tentative when these drivers are going a little bit slower. It is great to see. And there you go, both AlphaTauris into the pits. And all we need to do now is just make sure that Zhou gets his fuel back in line, and then we can hopefully just drive around nicely in the rain. Okay, so Zhou isn't as good as a wet weather racer compared to Lewis Hamilton. What a big shock horror that is. I mean, I'm not that surprised. Alonso is still in 4th, just behind Sebastian Vettel, who is letting Perez and Russell just get away. I would love to try and we could push. Should we push Alonso and see if he can make that move in the wet? He's two experienced drivers, Alonso and Vettel, against each other. Zhou, I think we just sort of let him battle. He's going to fall down the order. I just don't think he's as good as a wet weather racer. So we're going to see what Alonso can do on Sebastian Vettel and see if he can make something stick here. Because if he can get past him relatively quickly, let's think about this. Where do we want him? I think we get him to push actually out of these corners and down that straight. We're gonna see if he can get that overtake done. He is in a great position right behind him. He could be in a good position here to get this done. So let's we'll go into overtake down here. Obviously there is no DRS in the rain, so that's not going to make a difference. Go on, Alonso, pull out and get that done. Get it done. Use that battery. He's gone for the move. Can you get into the podium positions? Can you get into... I mean, we could even ask Zhou to hold people up. I think he's doing it naturally. Alonso trying to make it into that corner. It's going to be a left-hander next, so Vettel will have the advantage. But coming into the next corner, can Alonso get it done? Let's deploy coming out of this corner. Really put it down, and Alonso does get in front of Sebastian Vettel. Great driving there, and we can get him now into normal mode as he gets into 3rd position. We could try and push away from Sebastian Vettel, but I feel like we won't push it too hard. We're doing well at the moment. Guan Yu Zhou holding absolutely everybody up behind him. He's doing a fantastic job to give Alonso and Vettel some pace, some space. And yeah, good on him. I mean, we could even set his ERS to defend. But look, he's going so slow and holding everyone up. He's just driving. He's just driving the best he can in the rain. But yeah, I mean, I will take Zhou tumbling down the order and holding everyone up if necessary to give Alonso a 10-second... Him and Vettel have got a 10-second lead over Zhou. So we're in a pretty good position here. And it's going to be full wets for the foreseeable. So let's see how this unfolds. Okay, so lap 25. We've actually pushed Alonso a little bit harder. We've got him away from Sebastian Vettel 4 seconds. Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz all have now passed Guan Yu Zhou, who is really not enjoying the wet weather. We've asked him to put his tyres a little bit just to try and get him a little bit more pace because obviously we don't want Stroll to overtake him. But yeah, it's all around Alonso driving very well in the wet weather at the moment, getting him to harvest up his battery a little bit more now that we've got that 4-second gap to Sebastian Vettel. We are in a very, very good position in this race with Fernando Alonso, and that is something I'm very excited about. He is 13 seconds off Checo Perez, but George Russell well out in front. It looks like it's going to be his race unless he does something very foolish, but at the moment, Fernando's in a good spot. Vettel not even closing the gap while we're harvesting, so that's good. It's just getting into this point where the rain's going to drop off, and that's where we're going to have to see what the track condition's going to be like. In theory, I don't think it's going to drop below the 4 millimeters of rain to put intermediates on. So I think this might be the race. We stay on these tyres till the end, we get it done, and everyone's happy and we're all in a good position. Okay, so the rain has stopped. Lap 29. It's coming down to 5.9. We're going to have an extended period of absolutely no rain. And I think this is obviously going to be full wets again. But I think we may have to pit for intermediates at some point. It's going to be very, very interesting. Alonso now has Verstappen chasing him down. So that's going to be a little bit harder. But because we're going to have to change those tyres, we're going to leave it on, push the tyres a little bit harder, and see what we can do. Guan Yu Zhou still holding up Lance Stroll, which is great fun. Stroll and Norris struggling to get past Guan Yu Zhou, although it looked like he may just get it done right now, I'm loath to put this onto defensive. I think Stroll's going to make this one stick, is he? Guan Yu Zhou, stick your nose in. Get it. Make sure you're in front for the next corner. Yeah, okay. Guan Yu Zhou keeps the position. Verstappen rapidly closing the gap on Alonso. Verstappen, obviously, a world-class driver, and Alonso was in his day. But, yeah, for now, it's all about Max at the moment. But it's going to be really interesting what happens with this weather. Okay, we have had multiple cars crash right now. It's only a yellow flag. No safety car. Crash involving multiple cars. So Daniel Ricciardo, does he just go straight into the back of the Ferrari? He goes for a move, dives down the inside, locks up. Oh, he hits the Haas. Ouch. Yeah, okay. I think both drivers will be able to carry on with that. Yeah, Danny Rick gets a time penalty. Verstappen has really caught up Alonso. I don't know if this podium is going to be a thing. I think it's going to be intermediates because this track is drying up very, very quickly. So I think we're going to go potentially inters with Alonso at the end of this lap. Get him on the inters, leave him on the inters, get him back onto the wets. Because I think the wet weather in this condition isn't going to be very good. The wet weather tyre. I mean, it's too soon for Zhou. It's too soon to put Zhou in. He's going to be a really slow lap, I think, if he does it there, because he's just gone past the pits now. Right, maybe a pit stop coming up. I'm not sure. Oh, I can't decide what to do. Alonso's here with Max Verstappen. If we pit him onto inters, he's going to come out potentially in 10th, but be on the better tyre. Like, it's still poor. So if we say pit this lap 4.46, it's going to go into intermediate weather. Do we try and get ahead of the curve with everyone else? I don't think anyone else is going to pit. And then, see, it's going to be inters for at least 10 laps, which I think is you're going to get so much more time compared to going and then go back onto the wets. I think that's just going to make more sense. And I think we're going to do it, again, it could be a complete strategy faux pas, but I think we're going to do it with both drivers and see if we can pull this off. So, Cronin telling Alonso to box onto the inters. 4.43. By the time we pit, that could be, yeah, see, it's still coming down. So, Zhou should also be entering the pits pretty soon as well. So Alonso in the pits, coming onto the intermediates a little bit early. Maybe we could have kept Zhou out for another lap, but at least we know there's going to be no traffic on this lap when we come out. So Zhou, that's well timed, really well timed. That Zhou coming 2.4 stop is good as well. Alonso is going to come out. He's going to be slow until this hits below 4. So we do know that. And the thing is, we can afford to push these tyres because we know we're going to go back onto the wets come towards the end of the race. So Alonso comes out in front of Stroll and Norris in 7th. So a really good stop. But we know these guys are going to be quicker for about half a lap. And then we're going to be in the perfect range for the intermediates to work. So it is a risky strategy. I know it's not the best. Zhou's coming out in 15th. But again, I think most other people are going to pit for inters. If not, they're going to be on a much slower tyre on the wet tyre. And yeah, it's going to be around half a lap. And then this is going to be in our range. And as long as Alonso keeps this position, we're going to be all good, I think. I think we're going to be in a very good position here. Alonso, I can't believe he kept 7th. That's absolutely awesome. But here we go then. 4mm, just under 4mm is the tyre sort of dampness for intermediates. And here we are. So we are back into intermediate territory now. And Alonso should get much more speed. As Verstappen comes into pit, he's got to be going on to inters, I think. I think he's doing similar to what we've done. So if we now go lap times, Perez in, Verstappen in, Hamilton in, Sainz in. Yeah, they're all going on to inters. So have we played this really well going a lap earlier? Because Verstappen is just coming out and Alonso will be going past the pit straight any second. I think Verstappen's still going to just have us, but let's push. I don't really want to push anything else. We'll push the fuel for now. Alonso, Verstappen is out. So there we are. We're going to be, I think, net second, I think, is where we are at the moment with Fernando Alonso. With Lance Stroll behind us, who I think has stayed on the wets. He has stayed on the wet. So we've sort of matched Red Bull, gone a lap earlier than Red Bull, which is really interesting. And this is where Zhou should now climb back up the places as well. We're on the right tyre. We're in a good position. We're going to be on this tyre for a good 10 laps, I think. So Yes, have we played this very, very well? Verstappen with a 3-second lead. Zhou gaining the positions now. Have everyone pitted around him? No, Hulkenberg, Leclerc, Stroll, Vettel, Perez and Russell all still out on the wet tyre. Zhou with Norris for company though, and we know that Norris is probably a better driver than Guan Yu Zhou. But let's keep an eye on Alonso. Is it worth us trying to press and close that gap? I don't think it is really. Not to Verstappen. We're going to risk it with Zhou though. We're going to tell Zhou that he can try and make as many places up as he can during this intermediate period. I feel like he should be better on the inters than he should be on the wets. So if he can pull away from Norris, maybe take advantage of Leclerc and that lot being here. So again, Vettel pits in. Alonso is going to overtake Sebastian Vettel while he's in the pits. Perez still stays out on the wet tyre, which I find really interesting, as does Russell as well. I mean, they can't be going long. I'm just thinking, we really haven't got long on these tyres. Let's really ask them to do what they can, both drivers here. I feel like we're in a good position to do this. Zhou is going to jump Leclerc, Hulkenberg and Stroll in the pits and get back up into 8th, which is absolutely awesome, as we are obviously asking him to push quite hard at the moment. But yeah, Alonso currently sitting in 4th. Russell and Perez still out on the wets. It's 37 seconds, or 34 seconds, so they could probably pit and change and come back out. But, yeah, okay, we're in a decent position. I think Zhou has pulled away from Norris ever so slightly, has 1.1 seconds. Let's get Alonso to try and just close that gap briefly to Verstappen. As here comes, so Perez and Russell do now pit. And I think they're going to be able to pit and get out, yeah, ahead of Max Verstappen. So net 4th is probably where we're going to be. And you've got to say that Russell and Perez have played that very, very well. So I think if tyres are slightly overheating, let's just bring that down. We'll keep an eye on fuel as well. We'll do that with both drivers. I feel like Zhou's done some good laps there. We'll keep Zhou pushing, actually. He's not in too much harm at the moment. Hamilton is now behind Alonso. Verstappen, yeah, I mean, Perez and Russell played that incredibly well. 13 seconds is the difference. So, very, very interesting. We're going to drop down to here and then back onto the wet. So, we could, I guess, try and plan that out, right? So, let's go get a new stint in here. Probably around there onto the full wets. We can push them all the way to the end as well. So, I think it's going to be something like that. And then again, Guan Yu Zhou, we will add a new stint in. It's going to be full wet somewhere around here. We can obviously play it by ear when it happens. And new strategy A is in play. Now, what is interesting is that we're getting very close to slick tyre weather. Lap 39, just about to start lap 40. Or sorry, just started lap 39. Are the AI going to panic and put slicks on? Or are they going to see this weather? I mean, AlphaTauri have already had one massive faux pas by putting on inters over here somewhere or here somewhere. But yeah, I think lap 41-2 maybe would be the ultimate, I think. I think that would be the ultimate stop. So we've got Guan Yu Zhou coming in. Oh, no, not inters. We want to go there, 40. In fact, I think Zhou. Let's go Zhou early. We'll go Zhou 41. And then we're going to go Alonso at the moment. It's coming in March far too late. I think that is probably ideal. Zhou, in fact, let's err on the side of caution. Let's go 41. In fact, I think there's such a difference. We could probably put them in on both the same lap if we need to. But that weather will be coming pretty soon, and we have to get these pit stops right to make sure that we keep our track position, because we're in such a good position right now with Alonso up in 4th. Hamilton is closing the gap, but it's all about, 4 minutes time, 85% chance of heavy rain. So let's just see how this plays out. We'll be back for the pit stops. Okay, so the track is now being classed as completely dry, but we're not going to listen to that because we know that rain is coming pretty soon. In fact, it's coming now. You can see it on the screen. Hopefully that comes through on the recording. But you can see the rain is actually coming down already. And the track is still getting drier, but it's definitely going to be full wet. It may just be a delay to going on to the full wets. I think that's what it's going to be. Right, here we go. Already up to 2 millimeters of rain right now, and it is coming down absolutely rapid. So where are our drivers? I think... Oh, Joe's locked up. Joe's locked up and gone straight on. That's going to really cost him. So you're definitely going to come in and get your wet tyres on right now. Because you're going to be in a world of pain. And do you know what? I think we're going to gamble. I think... Oh, no, don't show me that. I want to do the pit stop. He's locked up. He's gone straight on onto the grass. It's a, terrible mistake from Guan Yu Zhou under a bit of pressure. So, 2.54. Yeah, we're going to go early. Try and miss all the traffic in the pit stop. Get onto those wet tyres with Fernando. So, Zhou's little incident has put him down to 11th. So, it's not dreadful. But, yeah, did pit options, pit, confirm. So you should be coming. Box. There we go. Let me just check that I have. I panic so much now about pit stops. So Fernando should be coming in. There we go. Onto the wet. So it's going to be a lap ahead of everyone else again. Is it going to work for Fernando Alonso and Guan Yu Zhou? We are picking them at the same time. A very wet and rainy Mexican Grand Prix. But look how quickly the track is getting wet. Look how quickly that is getting wet. And we've pitted a lap earlier than everyone else. Fernando Alonso's out. He's going to come out again. It's going to be around about half a lap. And he's going to come out in 7th. So it should be a very, very good pit stop here. As Zhou gets in as well. 2.5 second stop. Right, let's get Fernando Alonso. Because we know that we can push these tyres. Not just yet. We need the weather to be in prime condition. As Guan Yu Zhou is leaving the pit lane. No, he's just entering the pit lane. Sorry. Yeah, Alonso out in 7th. He may lose that place to Norris, but Norris will have to come and pit, and we're going to be on the perfect tyres for a little bit longer in this race. So when everyone else comes into pit, and this is up to 4, we're going to push absolutely everything with Fernando and see what he can do. We might not catch these guys. I mean, I don't know how long was... I should have looked to see how long the stop was. I'm pretty sure that's... pitting. Yeah, I want to know how... Can you see how long your pit stops were? That would be a bit of useful information, wouldn't it? So you can go back and see what everyone else has done. But okay, not to worry. 3.9. So yeah, we've pitted, I'd say, on the perfect lap to go and get this done a little bit early. Is Russell going to come in on this lap? No, he's not. He's going out on another lap of inters. And now Fernando, in the perfect wet weather conditions, we're basically going to tell him to absolutely go hell for leather and see what he can do. And to be fair, Zhou in 15th. Let's get him doing it as well. There's risk of spins and stuff like that. But Norris comes into pit. So Zhou needs to catch Norris. That's what we need Zhou to do. Zhou needs to catch Norris. Alonso just needs to go as quick as he bloody well can. I nearly did a bad swear word there. As quick as he bloody can to catch up. All these people are going to be pitting. Can Zhou catch Norris? Norris is going to come out. Where's Zhou? I don't think he's quite going to have enough to catch Lando Norris. It was a big ask for Guan Yu Zhou. Lando Norris just comes out exiting the pit lane there. And Zhou he's not going to be too far behind him. But we're obviously going to be pushing our tyres. And I don't think the AI will in this condition. But let's wait and see. As Alonso is just coming around here. Russell stays out again on intermediates, which means they're probably pitting Hamilton this lap. Perez stays out. Verstappen comes into wets. Right, okay. So this is where Alonso really needs to make his speed up. I don't think he's going to have enough to catch Verstappen. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Alonso may just be a little bit too far behind, but anything in the top, I think 5 or 6 for Alonso is a great race. So I feel like we've been in a decent position here, and we have absolutely rinsed his battery as well. So let's get him to just get both of them now, just to be a little bit wary about their fuel, as I'm going to assume Vettel's going to come in here. So Verstappen is already out, and Alonso is going to get Vettel's signs. Is he going to get Hamilton? It's going to be close. Alonso could get Hamilton. I think Alonso will get Hamilton because he's still limited by his pit limiter. Alonso's coming out. And there goes, yes, there goes Alonso. Lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely stuff. Guan Yu Zhou up into 12th. But Leclerc hasn't pitted. Stroll, Bottas haven't pitted. So, yeah, Zhou should gain a few places there. But Alonso up into 4th. He's got Hamilton behind him, but I feel like we're in a good position at the moment to get this done. Now, I'm going to touch wood here and say no safety cars yet, but this could be wet until the end, I think. Oh, God, I've just remembered. Can you remember that Canada Grand Prix where we didn't change Alonso's tyres? And he lost, like, pole position or second on the final corner because he backed out because he didn't have enough grip in the tyres. But, yeah, we'll have to see how this one pans out, because that could be interesting right at the end there. So it's going to be no rain, and the track grip is going to go up, and it's going to be damp, I think, as Russell and Perez now do come in. This is Verstappen's time to try and pounce. There is a gaggle of very slow cars in front, though. That's Perez getting his pit stop done. A very good stop for him, as Russell is out in front of him, though. And Verstappen, look at this gaggle of cars that are going to be lapped here. And Verstappen takes the lead. Oh, if we had just matched Verstappen's pace, we would have been up there as well. But I think that's a tough ask in an Aston Martin compared to a Red Bull. And now you've got all of these cars, these lap cars that need to be there. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Somebody locked up in Sector 1 now as well. So it must have been just that difference. There's a car in the wall. Someone's crashed. Someone's run wide. This will be a lot of... But Bottas, yes. Come on. Alfa Romeo crashed. That is what we need. Coming down the straight, I'm going to assume he's put the pace down a little bit too quick coming off the curb. Round here. Oh, brakes didn't really work. Intermediate's not giving him the grip he needs. And that is knocking Bottas down at the table, which is absolutely fantastic for us. But yeah, heavy rain weather is in, and there is about 25 laps to go. So... very interesting, but we know Hamilton's absolutely superb in the rain. So let's see what happens here. Zhou is going to overtake Bottas in the pits, which is incredibly good news for us in our battle with Alfa Romeo for that 4th place in the Constructors. And we're catching Stroll as well, because Stroll is still on Inters. Oh my word, Lance, your team have had a shocker. So Zhou, yeah, look how quickly he's caught up there. I do think Hamilton probably will get Alonso, but... for now, I'm very happy with how this is going. It's just going to be what happens at the end of the race. Okay, so 58 laps, or 57 laps in the bag. This is lap 58. We're just starting. Alonso's doing a fantastic job of defending against Hamilton. But the wet weather is at 4.3 dampness. We're coming into this bit now where it's going to ease off. And it says now that at the end of the race, it's going to be full track grip, or full wet, slick conditions. So I'm really torn about what to do here. The wet weather's not going to go too much longer. It's just how quickly is it going to dry up to go down to 0 to 1 millimetre for slick tyres. That is the gamble you've got to take right now, because it's not going to be ending on wet tyre compound. It's not. It's going to raise a little bit here, which we're going to just get through, but that's going to dry pretty quickly. It's going to be a very interesting end to this race, as Sector 1 has another yellow flag in it. A lot of drivers are locking up and stuff like that with the wet weather. But yeah, so now it's going to get into intermediate territories. And we're going to have to see how this plays out. It's going to be really interesting. It's just about to hit inters. Is anyone going to pit? I think they'd be quite foolish to pit right now. Oh, Hamilton pits. Sainz pits. We're staying out because there's a little bit more rain to come according to our radar. And I think we stay on these wets until we go to slick tyres. So that's put a bit of space in between for Sainz, or for Alonso anyway. So we'll be back when we know what's going on. Right, we've got lots of people coming into pit now. Russell, Perez, both in. Verstappen out in front. Hamilton is closing the gap on us after his pit stop. But again, I'm not too sure what to do. They're all going to go to inters. We're the only team left out on wets with both drivers. And I sort of feel like we can stick this out and get onto the slicks. And I know we're going to be slow. But if we can get onto those soft tyres... I mean, it's the track is drying so quickly. It's drying so fast. I think that's what we're going to do. I think I'm going to... It's only 10 laps to go, though. Am I leaving this too late? Am I leaving this too late from this position? This is... I mean, look how quickly Perez has caught us there. I know I should get onto the inters. I know I should, but it's going to be slick tyres in about 2 laps. And that's going to give us like 7 laps to try and recover. And I don't want to go to inters to go to softs. I just want to go straight from wets to softs. I think we risk it and stay out. I'm going to risk it and stay out. Okay, there's been a crash, but yeah, so Alonso's lost out to Perez. Hamilton isn't quite there yet. We're very close to getting into the 1mm range, but is it too many? I think I've balls this up. I don't think there's enough laps for it to get down to 0 to 1. Well, it will get down to 0 to 1. I think it's just going to be a bit too slow. Hamilton might get a sign, might get a Norris is 25 seconds away. Zhou's going very slow on these tyres as well. Oh, this is so... I mean, we could bring in Alonso now onto inters and he would get out in front of Norris. But that's going to be like 1mm there, which gives us 5 laps to absolutely gun it. No, I love gunning it on softs. That's what we're going to do. We're going to stick out and we're going to go straight onto those softs and see what we can do. Right, we're bringing Alonso in on this lap onto a fresh set of soft tyres. We're going to pit and we're going to do Zhou as well. It's still 1.5, but that, we know that's about half a lap in these sort of conditions. Oh, no, where am I going? Pit options, onto softs, pit this lap. Bosh. Right, so Zhou is going to come in now. Alonso's got to get through this lap. So Alonso's dropped down, but if we can pit and just absolutely gun it, I'm hoping that those soft tyres come in handy, because I can't imagine... Look how slow he's going on his wets. Can't imagine the AI are going to pit. And if they do, then we're going to be in a great position. So, yeah. Or I've completely balls this up and we're not going to get any points. Let's see what happens. Right, so Alonso comes in. Track is 1.23. I guess the only thing I should have checked in strategy is... I assume that we can now just absolutely rag these softs. Yeah, we can. It was never in doubt, really, was it? So, right, Alonso is out. Zhou, just absolutely gun it. And Alonso, you'll do the same as soon as you're out. 1.16. So, can these soft tyres gain us that many seconds a lap? Do not do a safety... Oh, I guess a safety car if it then comes in. Yeah, attack on those tyres. This is it, right? So, that is a... Red Bull that has lapped us, but we're going to be so much quicker. The update has suggested that we should be allowed to unlap ourselves, but with 4 laps to go, Zhou in 13th is 20 seconds off Leclerc, so that's going to be a bit of a tough ask. But Alonso, can he get back up into the points, or should I have gone into, or back into the higher points, or should I have gone into much quicker? I think if we can get Norris in 6th, I'll be happy, but I understand it's quite a gap. Oh my god, they're pitting. Everybody's pitting. Everybody's pitting with 3 laps to go. Vettel's just leaving. Norris is in. Sainz has left. Verstappen is in. Oh my god, Alonso's going to gain so many places, as should Zhou if they're all going to pit. This is incredible. Alonso comes down the start-finish straight. 4 laps to go. And he's going to jump both of those drivers. Oh my god, this is incredible. They have pitted. They couldn't stand the intermediates on those... on that... on the surface as it was. So Zhou in 13th. He hasn't quite caught Leclerc, who did pit as well. But I think let's just say absolutely go for it. We're going to save the fuel for the last lap. But yeah, Alonso. So Verstappen is so far out in front. That is just absolutely ridiculous. 37 seconds ahead. Alonso up into 6th is absolutely awesome. 2 laps to go. We've got Alonso back into 6th, so that's great. That is really, really good. Zhou not having the best of times. I don't know what we could have potentially bought him in earlier or left him out or put him on intermediates maybe, got him do the intermediate strategy. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Alonso, where's Bottas? Bottas and Stroll are both out of the points as well, which is absolutely awesome. And now we're asking Alonso to absolutely gun it. I think 11 seconds is too much to ask to catch up to Sainz in terms of what you can do, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting ask because, I mean, well, the timings are all over the place. I don't quite know what's happening here. Is it because have we been lapped by Sainz? I'm not too sure what's happened there, but it looks like this is now going to be the sort of parade to the end of the race. As fastest lap is set by Fernando Alonso, a 1:20.1. I assume Verstappen will beat that at some point, but 3 laps remaining. So on to the final lap we go. Max Verstappen has started his final lap. Fernando Alonso has got a couple more corners and then he'll be on his final lap as well. Perez now currently with the fastest lap, which is good. Sorry, Guan Yu Zhou will be coming around the corner to start his last lap because he's not going to catch Verstappen. But yeah, Fernando Alonso in a very good position in 6th, just needs to bring it home. Guan Yu Zhou down in 12th. He actually did catch Leclerc, which is awesome to see, where we were pushing the battery quite a lot. But with 1 lap to go, right, let's push on here. Fernando Alonso, I think when you start your final lap, will get you to push your fuel as well, and just keep an eye on it. I mean, if you look how much the pushing of the fuel takes it down already. Guan Yu Zhou's only been on this straight since I put it on, and it's gone down by 0.1 of a kilo already. So we do need to keep an eye on it. As Fernando Alonso, who's that? That's a lap. We're coming to lap Bottas. Fucking hell, I did do a bad swear, but yeah, we're coming to lap Bottas, which is quite embarrassing for him as our constructor rival. Right, starting his final lap then. Let's push the fuel, and we will keep an eye on what we can do. You've got some battery left there, Guan Yu Zhou, so get that into deploy. And see how we do. Sector 2, a yellow flag, I think. Someone ran. Oh, Zhou, you knob. You ran wide and let Leclerc back in. That's just silly. Fernando Alonso then. So Max Verstappen crosses the line. So Fernando Alonso is comfortably in 6th position, I would say. But we're still going to ask him to push a little bit more. If he can lap Bottas, that would be brilliant. Oh, Zhou, you're locked up as well. Oh my God, Guan Yu Zhou, you're having an absolute shocker. If we can lap Bottas, that'll be quite humiliating for him and wonderful for us. So let's go for that. He should be getting out of the way. He should be blue flagged, to be honest. But I'm not too sure why he's not moving. But we're getting ERS to deploy for Fernando Alonso. He is okay for fuel. He's not going to end on the finish line, but we will just bring that into balance just to make sure. There we go. I think that is Valtteri Bottas getting out of the way with blue flags. I mean, he's still putting up a bit of a fight. I wouldn't say he's really getting out of the way. But there we go. Fernando Alonso laps our constructor rival, Valtteri Bottas, who has already finished the race, to be fair. But 6th position for Fernando. I will take that. Very happy with Fernando Alonso's race there. We got the strategy right for him. Zhou was a little bit unlucky. I think Zhou's lack of pace in the rain was the real hindrance there. But absolutely superb. I've just realised as well there's no game audio in this recording, so apologies about that. But there we go. Fernando Alonso 6th, Zhou in 13th. Big points for us from Alonso. And more importantly, Alfa Romeo not scoring any. So yeah, great work there from Fernando Alonso. Up 1 position to gain us 8 points. 4 stops for him. All the other drivers doing 5, which is really interesting. But yeah, 8 points gained there. Pierre Gasly ended up with the fastest lap of 1:18.8, which was much quicker than most of the others other than Max Verstappen. Guan Yu Zhou dropped down 3 positions. Not too fussed about that. Max Verstappen into 14th. Up 14th places up to 1st. I guess the extra stop would be where they went inters and then onto softs, and we didn't. But I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with that. In terms of the drivers, Alonso stays in 8th, just behind Valtteri Bottas. Guan Yu Zhou sits behind Lando Norris, who got 6 points in that one. And in the constructors, we do overtake Alfa Romeo to get 4th position, 5 points ahead of them with 2 races to go. It's getting good, isn't it? It's getting good. Is there any points that we can allocate to drivers? Drugovich, you going to get one? No, you're not. Okay. So on we go. Lots of money in. We gain 3.9 million from that, so which is good. Let's go and invest something in our facilities, I think, at some point. So Drugovich, I think that means he does have. He got 2 points actually to invest. So okay, let's get everything up to 76. So we'll give him accuracy up to 76. Next will be control, and then we'll start getting everything up towards 80, which is good. Guan Yu Zhou, no development points, neither for Alonso as well. What about our other staff? None. Okay, so none there. So post-race, Max Verstappen claimed it. Very good race from him. We had a fantastic race. The board are happy. And lovely, lovely stuff. So what have we got coming up here? So in terms of the calendar then, we've got the new front wing being manufactured there and there. So that'll be on for the next race, which is awesome. The wind tunnel is going to be upgraded as well. So we've got 36 million in the bank. We could do the design centre. So the factory will give us, if we upgrade it, will give us project capacity up to 6, development speed plus 25%. The design centre will give us project capacity 4, engineering capacity up to 20. I think we go for the design centre, right, and get more engineers. The project capacity gives us car part manufacture to 6. No, we want design. Yeah, car part design 4, right. That is a lot of money. that we're going to dump there. It leaves us with £4 million, so we're not completely out of money. But yeah, lovely, lovely stuff. I just wanted to have a look at the cars. If we have a look at where we are on the grid, so acceleration's really low, medium speed, high speed, cornering is low. So we're really outperforming our car this year, which is absolutely amazing. I don't think we've got... Oh, we do have... yeah, so one of those is ready. Okay, so we'll give it to Alonso there. What does that give? Install on car 1. What does that make us on the grid? Yeah, again, not anything better. Brake cooling 20th, so we do really need to focus. I've been sort of putting off brake cooling, which is a little bit irritating. But and then powertrain wise, yeah, again, we need to be, yeah, okay, some more research could be pretty useful. I don't know if we've got what have we got going on at the moment? Car part development, new project. No, so we are doing chassis and underfloor research, and yeah, we're making those new front wings. So okay, not in too bad a position. Right, we'll be back for the penultimate Grand Prix in Brazil at the Autodrome Jose Carlos Pace, and we'll catch you there for the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Are we going to nail down 4th in the constructors? Because it would be lovely if we do. See you in the next one. Cheers.